When I first visited the US as a Prime Minister, India was the 10th largest economy in the world. 10th. Today, India is the 5th largest economy. India will be the 3rd largest economy soon.
As an Indian, you must be feeling very proud on it. But there is one huge problem for India, because of which the inflation in India keep increasing and countries like Europe and America are constantly bullying India. And also most of the Indian origin companies are not able to survive globally. This problem is dependency of India on oil.
India is one of the largest importers of oil in the world, so India is particularly sensitive to any increase in oil prices. Each time the price of a barrel rises by $10, inflation in India spikes by 0.3%.
India is the world's 3rd biggest oil-consuming and importing country. It imports over 85% of crude oil.
But don't be sad, we are Indians. We literally sent a satellite to moon in a budget of Hollywood movie, so we got this. Coming back to the point, the solution of this dependency on oil is green energy. There are multiple sources of green energy: hydropower, wind power, biomass, bioenergy. But what specifically we need is solar energy.
सौर ऊर्जा आज की नहीं बल्कि 21वीं सदी की ऊर्जा जरूरतों का एक बड़ा माध्यम होने।
Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe to our channel. I am really hoping to cross 1000 subscribers before this year ends. Thank you, enjoy the video. But the biggest question is why solar power? Have a look on this graph. In last 10 years, while the average cost of other sources of energy kept increasing, solar energy average cost literally fell down from 11 in 2001 to 2.5 in 2024. And also it's not a very practical idea to install windmills in cities across India. And it's pretty expensive to store and maintain green hydrogen plant. But when it comes to solar energy, you can literally go to market right now, buy a solar panel, and you are all set to generate electricity from sunlight. Also, India being located near to equator have a huge geographical advantage over other countries which are located far away from equators, because of which India get more sunlight as compared to other countries. Right now, India is emerging as a solar power hub globally. From 2018 to 2024, the solar installed capacity in India have grown by 24.8 CAGR. This capacity is expected to grow at the rate of 24.7 CAGR between 24 to 28. Currently, India have installed solar capacity of 81.8 gigawatt, and by 2028, it will be 198 gigawatts. It means in just 4 years, the capacity of India will be more than double of now. Also, the cherry on the ice cake is government have a plan to install 280 gigawatts of solar installed capacity by 2030. If you compare India globally, India stands at 4th rank when it comes to solar installed capacity. No doubt China is in the first position with more than 600 gigawatts of installed capacity. Now have a look on this chart. Thermal is expected to grow at the rate of 2.6 CAGR. Nuclear is supposed to grow at 18% CAGR. Wind is supposed to 8.4%, but the solar is expected to grow at the rate of 24.7 CAGR. Behind this immense growth, a lot of credit goes to Indian government for perfectly executing policies and schemes. Because of these government policies and subsidies, a really huge market demand was created. The first policy is PM Kusum Yojana. This policy focuses on de-dieselization of farm sector. Currently, 90% farmers across India are using diesel-based water pumps for crop irrigation. By this policy, government wants to replace those pumps with the solar pump. And government is giving them 30 to 50% of the total installation cost as subsidy. This scheme is divided into 3 components. Government wants to deploy 100 megawatt of decentralized ground-mounted grid connected to solar power plants. Under second component, government wants to install 20 lakh solar-powered agriculture pumps. And in the third component, government wants the solarization of 15 lakh grid connected to agriculture pumps. And have a look on this. This is the number of what government has achieved under this scheme till now. Also, if you generate more power than your requirement, you can sell it to energy exchange for an extra source of income. Under this scheme, India will need 34.8 gigawatts of solar panel capacity every year. Also, there are multiple solar parks across India on which government is working, for which we need 37.7 gigawatts of solar panel every year. Another scheme is PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, which have a demand size of 25 to 50 gigawatts of solar panels every year. CPSU scheme phase 2 needs 12 gigawatts of solar panels every year. Because of all these policies, India really need huge supplies of solar panels. So it's a good news, right? It's not, because this is where India is lacking, and we are heavily dependent on China for the solar panels. The whole process of solar panel production have 4 stages: polysilicon, ingot wafers, solar cells, and then solar modules. And China has done incredible job here. China makes solar panels for just 16 to 18 cents per watt, whereas Europe could do this at 24 to 30 cents and USA could produce at 28 cents. So a Chinese module is 50% cheaper than Europe and 65% cheaper than USA. And this is the reason why India, USA and Europe have a huge dependency on China. China is manufacturing these modules so cheap that it's close to impossible to beat China. The cost of solar modules produced in India is way more expensive as compared to the Chinese ones. But if Indian businesses can import these modules from China at significantly lower prices than domestic options, they will 100% going to choose China over India. As a result, all the profits and growth opportunities of India's huge market will go to Chinese manufacturers. Is there nothing India is doing about it? So let me introduce domestic content requirement. This policy mandates that a specific percentage of solar cells and solar modules used in solar power projects, especially those which are funded by government, to be secured for domestic players. Doesn't matter how expensive it is as compared to Chinese players, you have to buy it from domestic players. Right now the minimum domestic requirement is 40%, it will be 45% in 2025, 50% in 2026 and 55% thereafter. DCR is applicable for all these 3 categories: grid-connected solar power plants, rooftop solar installation on government buildings, and off-grid solar solution. This policy serves 3 huge benefits. It ensures guaranteed demand for domestically produced solar cells and solar modules. It acts as an entry barrier for foreign players and hence the market is less competitive. Also, DCR incentivizes manufacturers to invest in research and development activities to ensure the efficiency and the quality of their work. The problem for foreign players is not over yet. There's a basic custom duty is also applicable. If you want to import solar modules from China, there will be 40% import duty, 10% custom duty on solar glass, and 25% import duty will be applicable on solar cells. Also, US and Europe regulations are helping Indian companies by creating huge demand for them. USA imposed ban on the import material from Xinjiang because China has been involved in the bad business practices since long. Child and forced labor is involved in almost every industry of China. Because of this sanction, US and Europe have a potential demand of 50 to 60 gigawatts of solar panels every year. And there is a possibility that 90% of Indian export will go to this region. Let's do a peer-to-peer comparison. These are the Indian listed companies with the cell module capacity. Waaree Energy have 12 gigawatts of module capacity, 6 gigawatt of wafer capacity and 11.4 gigawatt of cell capacity. And it have a proposed expansion capacity of 21 gigawatts that will eventually go towards 30 gigawatts. Similarly, these are the number for Vikram Solar, Premier Energies, Solar Energies and Websol. Now let's have a look on the EBITDA margin of these companies. The most efficient player is the Waaree Energy with 13.8 EBITDA margin, almost 40% of ROCE. Waaree Energy recently went public for the funding of their capex. Vikram Solar have a EBITDA margin of 9%. Premier Energies have a margin of 15.9%. Premier Energy have more EBITDA than Waaree Energy because they have the capacity of solar cells which Waaree Energy don't have. And Solex have a EBITDA margin of 8%. Recently, Websol went live with their solar cell capacity and their margin got affected in very positive way. They have done a 23 crore of PAT. So the biggest risk in this sector is the capacity of China.
China dominates the world's solar panel market. 80% of the world's solar panels are made here. In fact, they've installed more in 1 year than the US have in a decade.
Just one of the listed companies in China, Zinco Solar, have a capacity of 130 gigawatt. that is the double of what India needs right now. But in last 5 years, the Chinese solar companies haven't created any value for shareholders. And the reason behind this is the oversupply of cell modules and solar modules. But Indian companies are doing really good in their business and in the stock market as well. There are two big reasons behind this. The first is DCR policy and the second is US and Europe regulations. So just keep this in your mind while investing, that if government stop their policies, the Indian companies won't stand a chance against Chinese companies. And if USA resumes the anti-dumping duty, the margin of Indian company will get affected very badly. The whole solar industry is doing really good. It's really awesome for the Indian economy. But as an investor, you have to keep in mind that this sector exists because of the government policies. If you got any value out of this video, make sure to subscribe our channel and hit the like button. You can scan this QR code to join our WhatsApp community group. We keep posting the updates here. If you have any queries regarding this sector, make sure to drop a comment. I will definitely going to reply each of them.